gonna make me feel weird watching.
What?
I don't know. I'm nervous now.
What the fuck you nervous for?
Now I'm nervous.
You want me to go over there? I'll go over there.
I'm nervous now. Now you're listening to me. You're gonna be judging me.
I'm not oh shit, you gonna be talking and shit?
Yeah, I'm gonna be talking.
Oh man, fuck it. I don't wanna hear.
Hold on.
I'll watch it later.
Oh shit, it's playing.
It's just playing and sounding good.
Should probably pause that.
God damn, that shit sounded good. Wouldn't that keep don't go?
Huh? Yeah.
Damn, that shit, you heard that to it?
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna show you how to set input gain on your Helix processors. In this case, I'm using the Mini. First things first is to mute all of your outputs so you do not blow anything. Does any of this matter? No, none of this matters, but I'm going to take it off anyway. This is just the first setup, so we have to clear this anyway. So all of this is muted. You are going to get a 0 dB sine wave. I use 1000 hertz, doesn't need to be 1000 hertz, as long as it's 0 dB for your source unit. You know, when you're doing input gain, you know, everything except for the amplifiers, you're going to want to use 0 dB. You're not going to want any sort of input clipping throughout the chain. So 0 dB, don't overlap it with like -5 or -10. Save that for your amplifiers if that's how you set it for your amps. That being said, let me just find my track really quick. 0 dB. All right. We're on repeat. So I'm using my phone going directly into the OEM radio of this 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It has the base Uconnect system. It's non-amplified, 8-inch screen. Unfortunately, it didn't have a 5-inch screen, so we couldn't change the radio unless we wanted to use a Metra kit, which frankly, you know, that one has the built-in HVAC, and those for Metra I am never going to use for my customers again. But that's not what this video is about, so let's move forward. So what I'm going to do right now is find out the factory clipping volume. So I have this tone playing, and we're going to put it all the way up and see if we can get any sort of distortion out of it. I'm going to pull out this plug, and I'm going to measure with the scope. Hey, Kev, can you hop in the passenger side? Can you hop in the passenger side and just turn the volume up for me? All right, so we're going to scope this. Let's see. Whoops. All right. Oh, shit, this fucking thing's dying already.
Hurry up, sucker.
All right. Turn it up. Keep going. What are you at right now?
I'm about a little bit above half.
All right, keep going. We're clean.
Still clean.
Still clean. Oh, what is that?
Close to max.
What is that though?
It's. I'm gonna go max and let you know I'm at 33 of about 40.
All right, go down to 30.
Let me see. Yeah, it's actually is it? And it's 38. So.
Go down to 30.
30.
All right, 30 is clean. Yeah, 30's. What is that?
What about 35? Not clean?
Oh, that's clean.
That's 30. No. Let me keep going up.
This is dying.
Dying?
No, what is that right
Is
now?
it still clean? 35.
No, that's not clean. 30 is max.
30 is max.
All right, so 30 is max. So we're gonna set that to 30. I don't know if you guys were able to see that in the video. The display on the scope was a little crappy. All right, all right, so we're gonna plug this. No, that one doesn't matter though.
Okay.
Until now. So we're plugging this back in. We found max undistorted volume.
Let me go back down to 0 here.
No. Leave it at 30. So now that we found our reference volume, we're gonna put up our radio to that reference volume, and we're gonna play our tone. And we're gonna turn up this gain knob right here until. So this on the Mini, you have this little Phillips head gain knob. On the DSP 0.3, you have a larger flathead one. On the Pro, it's on the interior of the unit, and same with the Ultra. So you have to, to order to do this on the Pro and the Ultra, you have to open the unit up. There's unfortunately not enough space on the side plates to include a gain knob. So, but you do get more flexibility because they have individual gain knobs per channel. But so we're gonna turn this up. Oh, there we go. So you see how as I'm turning it up, we're getting that clip light. So that clip light, when it's turning red, is showing us that it's clipping the input signal because we're using too much gain. And that is pretty much it. All you got to do is find out your radio's max undistorted volume, play a 0 dB tone with that, with the radio set at that volume, and turn up the clip light or the gain knob until that clip light turns red. That is it. So stay tuned for input RTA. All right, guys, you just watched us set input gain on the Helix Mini. Now we are going to set the input EQ. All right, so we're at our input screen. This is how you access. So you have to populate the routing first, I noticed. So populate it, how you're going to populate it. And then you are going, the way you do that, if you read the manual, you drag and drop just like that. Right click to remove it, drag and drop, done. To get to the input EQ, you're going to click this right there. So it brings you to this screen. So you have your inputs over here on the left side. You have your input analyzer right here in the middle. You have the input RTA and EQ, drag and drop over here. Then you have your input EQ, settings if you, want to type anything in down here. So let's just dive right into it, I guess. You're going to need to use correlated pink noise for this, mono pink noise. So I have that playing on my phone right now, going Bluetooth into the radio, which is the customer's primary source. So I'm going to mimic that source because, why not, if that's how he listens. So to start, we're going to just drag. So on this car, I'm using front left, front right, rear left, and rear right. And we're not summing except for the sub. Let me change this to subwoofer. You know what? Subwoofer 1. Where is subwoofer 1? Because it's just one sub. Alright, so back here. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag and drop an input into, whatever channels we want to measure down here. You can actually sum, but we're not doing that here. I'll show you what that does later. You can also narrow in on what frequencies you want to measure down here. Since we're full range, we're going to measure full range. Unfortunately, the Helix only measures down to 40 hertz, nothing below that. But that's still good enough. We'll be able to tell if there's any low-end roll-off from 100 hertz and down. So all right, let's get right into it. So you're going to play your correlated pink noise at the radio's volume that we figured out before, which in this car is 30. And we're just going to start it. So you're going to see this bar, going across. It's analyzing the signal. Unfortunately, it's not a live RTA. It's going to measure frequency by frequency as this goes along. And once it's finished, you're going to see the frequency response, which is right there. So as you can see, we have a dip centered at about 125, a dip centered at about 1.2K, and a wide boost centered at about 9K. So to fix that, we don't have any low end roll off. It's actually rising. We're just gonna drag and drop and adjust the EQ to match. So as you can see, this is a pretty wide. This is a pretty wide dip, so we're going to match it. And then for this one, we do the same thing. Just try to match it, counteract it. Just like that. And this one is coming down. Actually, I'm going to save the last one just in case we do need to use a high shelf filter. Alright, so now that we have that set, let's start our track over and measure again. Look at that. Perfectly flat right across the board. I'm actually pretty surprised that I got it that close. But you know what? Let's adjust this a little. Let me let it run through one more time. If you keep letting it run through, you'll see that the bands are individually adjusting themselves as the bar goes across. So you see, it's just going band by band by band. All right, so that's our frequency response for the left side. Let's measure the right and see if it's the same. What we're looking for here is to see if there's any differences in frequency response. That's it for this step. As you can see, it's actually the same exact frequency response on the right side as it is on the left. So Jeep did not do any individual left to right EQ, so that makes things easy for us. So we're just going to copy settings over. So let's just measure it one more time just to verify. That's perfectly flat. It matches the left side. So let's move on to the rear signal. All right, let me start my track over. Start it. All right, so we got a pretty wild frequency response curve there. Let's see what we can do to fix that. So this is going to take a lot of boosting over here. Whoops, what did I do? All right, just wanted to make sure it's still recording. All right. All right, let's see how this does. Let me start the track over and start the RTA measurement. Look at that. Almost flattened it out perfectly. So we're going to adjust this one over here. Yep. It is, whoops, still, I just paused the track and it's still measuring. But yeah, it is the same. So let's just copy our left to our right and go from there. All right. So we are pretty much as flat as it's going to get. All right. So it doesn't need to be exact. You know, it's within a few dB. We're good enough. So let me show you how powerful this can be. This is a very basic car to integrate into. So, you know, there's no crossovers on the input signal. There's no, you know, it's all full range. So, but what we don't know is if there's any signal delay or if there's any all-pass filters or anything of that sort. So how we test for that is, so we're summing the front inputs to the sub. So you know what, let's just verify, you know, if the sub is going to get a good signal that is free of any phase cancellation or comb filtering from signal delay, and measure that. You know, the comb filter and, you know, all pass filters would be much higher in frequency, that it wouldn't even affect the sub. But let's just measure anyway, just to show you for the video. So let me, so the way you do this is, again, you know, you just drag and drop and play your track. Let me start this over and just run it. So the way you're going to tell is if this, so you know what, let me stop this again really quick. Let me start this. Let me measure the front left. Since we're doing, I want to have the front left measurement pop up so it's not a little bit different from the rear. But how you're going to tell if there's any signal delay or all pass filters on your input signal is if you have both, both inputs are flat, when you measure them individually. All right, so here's what we got. See, this one's flat across the board. Now let's say we sum it with this one. If there's any dips or any comb filtering or anything, that's how we know there's either signal delay or all pass filters. If there's signal delay, there'll be comb filtering, which will be dip after dip after dip after dip in a logarithmic manner. If there's an all pass filter, there might just be one dip or two dips, a little bit placed a little bit sporadically, or kind of controlled, but a little bit less predictable than signal delay comb filtering. So we have these summed. Let me start my track over and let's measure them together. All right, so yeah, there was no real changes. So that's how we know there is no signal delay or no all pass filters that we have to worry about. So another way this is useful is, if you're integrating into a car that has crossovers on a lot of the speakers, active crossovers out of the OEM amplifier to the speakers, you're going to grab signal from the mid bass in the door, the mid range in the dash, or the tweeter in the dash, or whatever. You can see how they're going to sum together. If there's any cancellation in, the crossover region, you can, like what if one of the speakers from the factory is flipped out of polarity? You'll see that dip at the crossover, and how you need to flip the polarity of that one, you can just double click it. And, let me just show you really quick. Let me show you what happens if I invert the polarity of one of them. Let me start this over and start measuring. There's going to be no signal because it's, they're going to cancel out. So let's see. Yeah. See, if I flip the polarity, this is the signal summed. There is nothing there. So let me put this back to normal. So let's let me mess with this. Let me just show you an example. Let me change this to let me change this one since it's unused. I'm going to change this to an all pass filter, second order at 500 hertz with a Q of 2. So let's see what this looks like. Let me start this over. So again, I'm just showing you this to simulate what it's going to look like if there's an all pass filter on the signal coming into it and you're going to try to sum. So there you go. You see that there's cancellation right at 500 hertz. Let's now let me show you. Let's go back to that. Let's get rid of it. Let me try adding millisecond of 1.3 milliseconds of signal delay, and I'll show you what that looks like. Let me start the track over. Start it. So again, when we did one all pass filter, there was just one dip. There wasn't comb filtering or anything like that. But again, you don't really know if there's multiple dips. You're not really going to be 100% sure if it's input delay or if it's an all pass filter on the input. So yeah, as you can see, it just, again, comb filtering. Here's our first dip at 400. Here's our second dip at 1.2. And then, unfortunately, the RTA doesn't have high enough resolution to show all these higher, the RTA doesn't have high enough resolution to show us these much narrower dips up top, but it just comes in as an overall lower output. So that's what this looks like. So let's go back to normal, and you'll see again what it should look like. And that's it. That's how you can use Helix's input RTA to your advantage when doing OEM integration. This gets a lot more, tricky when you're doing more complex systems. God forbid you have like a Cadillac with the pan array system or something crazy like that. But it's not the most powerful RTA to measure input signal, but it's right here on, it's software based. You have all of your adjustments right here. You see it real time. You don't have to futz around with a, an external RTA, like a handheld RTA with an XLR cable going in. And, it's, really, really convenient. So again, you didn't really see the super tight dips up top when, there was signal delay applied, but, are you going to spend, almost $1,000 or even more on a, a handheld RTA to measure, electrical signal with super high resolution? Or are you going to, break out a, make your own kit to do, an XLR to, and then some sort of preamp into Room EQ Wizard? It's just, yeah, you can do that, but this is right here. Super quick. For most cars, it is more than enough, just like this one. And we have it, it's all squared away. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to move on to, tuning the output signal, tuning the response, doing signal delay, all that good stuff. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope this helps, and stay tuned for more videos.